not used the drone for some time, so I need to have a first flight, check the controls, see if it takes off okay, and then just do a quick sweep just around the valley where we are, just to check everything's okay. It seems okay so far. Everything looks to be in order. Yes, everything fine. Spin round now, just come back and land, and then we'll set up to fly in Litchi. Firstly, we need to fly up and see how high the perimeter around the valley is, so that I can set an automatic flight where the drone will look inwards and film video, or it'll look outwards, whichever way I go. But these hills at the side of the valley are quite steep, and it's hard to judge. I would have thought about 170 feet, but we need to fly a little bit nearer over the house and go up and just get level with the eyesight, with the rim, and then just go up another 10 or 15 feet to make sure we clear it all the way around. And then we should be able to set that height then when we do an automatic flight, which will be an orbit. There I am, just going above it now, just a little bit higher. That's another 10, 20 feet, and there we go. Change from DJI Fly into Litchi and set an orbit, which will go up to 210 feet, and then it'll turn around and fly out, join the outer rim of the orbit, which is about 200 yards over the top of the ridge, and then it'll just automatically start. It's actually looking outwards, so you can see the terrain, and it'll start to move slowly. I've set it to 10 miles an hour, and it'll fly looking straight out from a circle from where I'm stood. Let's have a look now. It's got there. It's set the gimbal down so I can have a look just along the coastline, and it'll just slowly move its way right round. Luckily today there are no strong winds, so it's a nice slow speed. The drone very rarely gets buffeted, and of course if you try to fly into a wind where the speed's 23 miles an hour or above, then the drone will just struggle. It's looking out now right across the Irish Sea. It's flying out over the sea now, and the circle's it'll just do the circle at the consistent speed. It'll pick anything up, and then eventually it'll fly back to where it started from on the outer rim, and it doesn't automatically stop. It will carry on and just carry on around and do another orbit till you tell it to stop. If anything goes wrong, like as I'm watching now, I'm watching it go around, I'm watching seagulls flying just above it, you have to just be ready to just come out if they attack it, which they will do. It's just a nice speed, 10 miles an hour, as it's going round. It's doing the full 360 degrees, pointing outwards. And as you can see, it's filmed at 4K, so it gives you the opportunity to slow it down further when editing. That's the other cottage that is quite nearby. We drive past it on the way down the road, and there's somebody there at the moment. Yeah, we're flying at the 200, it'll maintain everything that I asked it to do. It'll stay at 210 feet, it'll go at 10 miles an hour, and it's filming, continuously filming. It gives you a good opportunity to have a look. It's about time they did that road. It's murder coming down there. and round we go. You can see now as as the hills are rising, and we're still a safe height above it. That's the farm over. It's only about a mile away. I believe it's where we get our water from, but I'm not sure. Don't need to say anything at this point, just enjoy having a look. I thought for a moment that was a fox, but it's not. And there's over the windmills alongside the road where the B road we turn off to come back. We're more or less done 3/4 of the orbit. We're coming back to this coastline now, which I've stopped the drone because it's done 360 degrees. I've told it to come home, so it's turning round, just having a quiet sweep and just going a little bit higher, turning round, looking back down towards the house and where I am, and then it'll fly down. It'll come to the 200 feet above me. You can just see the blue landing pad there. It points the camera down at some point, and like that, and then the GPS kicks in, and it's trying to turn around and find the exact coordinates of that to try and land completely on its own. You can see me walking about there with a long shadow, and I'm not doing anything, I'm just watching it come down. Comes quite fast, and then it stops about between about 8 and 16 feet above and relines up. What I can see on the controller is diagonal cross lines, and at the moment they're just to the top of the landing pad, and it'll slow down and it'll just adjust them and adjust them. Right, I've just set another orbit now, and it's taking off, going up to the same height, but instead of pointing outwards and looking along the coast and out to sea, it'll turn inwards and look towards the house, and then it'll adjust the camera so it points down. Right, it's got to the right height, and now it's moving out to the perimeter where it'll line itself up. Take the GPS coordinates, then turn around and follow 10 miles an hour sideways on, looking forward into the valley. There you go, it's looking down at the valley now. That's the house from 200 feet up, and it'll just slowly fly around in an arc right round to where it started from, and then wait for me to send for it to come back. You do see some quite remarkable views when you're doing the orbits and you're looking inwards, and you see things you don't see on the ground. It's a lovely little sheltered valley, is this. One of the problems is that you get cattle coming through, but as long as the gate's shut at the end of that drive, they just go along the end. The sea's settled down from what it was this morning. It was very rough this morning, and the drone just keeps realigning itself, and it's looking more or less at me in the centre, where it took off from. Steady 10 miles an hour, no problem at all. It is possible to set the speed faster, so it can go right round. There in at the top of the picture is that the smaller house, Cottage, that's part of the same estate. Because it's at quite some distance. I mean, the lens is very, very small, but it is a Hasselblad camera, and it doesn't miss a lot. We're nearly full on now, facing the house, and we're about 3/4 of the way around. On the orbit, it'll carry on, it'll move round. The actual drone itself is now up over the sea, right on the sand. Coming round, and it's not long before it'll be finished. After which, I shall bring it back in. Well worth watching, I think. Not a bad day with the drone, actually. I managed to fly it for 45 minutes. Didn't expect a sunny day. Didn't expect to be able to fly it at all today. Those rocks below there are where the caves are, which I took photographs of. And round it comes, back over the footpath that leads onto the property, over the top of the hills along the side, and then I shall stop it shortly. Nearly time now to bring it back in. It's done a full circle. I'll stop it any time, like now. Take the camera up. The drone takes the camera up, and then it'll fly back over me to come into land. Nick and I need to walk along there, walk along the shore, and then get up onto the high ground and walk across. Then we can look round the other bay. Right, it's nearer overhead now, and it's now gonna, camera will flick down. There it is, and it'll start to lock onto the landing pad, which is now done. Found the GPS, and then it'll start to descend quite fast. And here it comes. It's not a problem at all as it comes cascading down. We're nearly there. It's quite graceful as it lands, under its own control. And down we come. And then when it's got the GPS and locked on, it'll protect the camera and point the camera upwards, like any second now. That, handsome chaps, brings the drone day to an end. A very nice day.